Hey guys and welcome, it's RageGamer here for another Black Ops 4 video. Today we're looking at how to get bloodthirsties easily in multiplayer for camos. And if you want to check out videos on how to get long shots, headshots and other guides, there'll be a playlist in the description for that. I've also got some really great tips towards the end of the video, so stick around for that because you don't want to be missing those out, I assure you guys. So hope you guys find this useful. Let's get straight into it. So I know bloodthirsties are quite difficult in Black Ops 4, I would say, for a lot of people. I mean, I definitely find it's harder to go on kill streaks in this game for sure compared to Black Ops 3 and 2, but I still think there's some tactics you can use to quite easily improve your game and make it easier for getting bloodthirsties. So first up, let's talk about the game mode. For me, I quite like hardcore in general for the game just because people have got more health, but if people don't like that, they can go for core modes. But in terms of hardcore, I like going for simple modes like team deathmatch because that's good, as well as also things like domination because that's an objective based game mode where people are focusing on objectives, so that's quite good, and also kill confirmed as well, and I'll talk about that in a minute and a technique you can use in kill confirmed. Like I say, if you don't like hardcore, we can obviously go into core modes. So ones again like the deathmatch mosh pit, that's quite good, and also some of those objective game modes like domination and kill confirmed as well, and I'll explain about that as well. Next up, we're going to be talking about maps. So it's a bit different for bloodthirsties compared to other guides because for the maps it doesn't really matter what map. You can get bloodthirsties easily on any map really. It's just you want to be playing on maps that you're comfortable with, that you like playing on, that you really enjoy, ones that you're familiar with all the lanes and the flow of the map and the spawns and whatnot. So the maps you prefer, always try and vote for those, obviously. And what you also want to do is avoid voting for the maps that might have map fatalities. So for example, on frequency, there's lots of areas where you can fall off the map, and payload's another one. So just make sure you're kind of avoiding those maps if you feel like you might be prone to, you know, falling off or anything like that. Next up, let's talk about the classes then. So for assault rifles, I like putting on the red dot sight, and that's just a nice sight to use when going for kills. And alongside that, I put on the quick draw grip. This means you can aim down sight faster, so you're more likely to aim in, get the kill, and continue your streak. And as well as this, I like putting on the regular grip just so that you have less recoil and you stay more on target to get the kill. And if you're playing more core based game modes, then I would put on the FMJ attachment if you've got it. It's quite good for getting rid of that armor for any of those annoying guys that have a piece of armor on, so easier to kill them. But if you're playing hardcore, maybe just stick to something like a second grip attachment if you've got it, or another attachment as well. Like I say, each class is going to vary because not every weapon has the same attachment, so it does vary, but try and get as close as you can to, you know, what I'm suggesting. For SMGs, I like putting on the ELO sight if you can get it instead of the red dot sight, as well as hybrid mags, stock, and rapid fire. The hybrid bags mean you can have a little bit more ammo and you can reload faster, which is good for when you're in a, you know, fast-paced gunfight. And then the stock is going to mean you can aim down sight faster. With SMGs, you're going to be closer to the enemy, so you want to be, you know, aiming down sight, getting the kills. Rapid fire is also quite good as well because when you're up close, you want to put as many bullets in as possible to kill them as quickly as possible. Moving on then, we're going to look at the tactical rifles. So for this class, I like putting on the ELO sight if you can get it, the quick draw grip, stock, and a regular grip. They place fairly similar to assault rifles, but a little bit more difficult I find to get sometimes. So finally, we've got light machine guns. I like putting a red dot sight on this, as well as hybrid mags if you can get it, the grip, and the rapid fire. And these are the main classes I'm going to be talking about in today's video. There are other ones, obviously, like pistols and shotguns and snipers, but I feel that these need more attention separately, so I'm going to be doing separate videos for those coming soon. So make sure you go and check out the playlist in the description for those bloodthirsty guides specifically. And if you want them quicker, just leave me a comment just to let me know. Alright then, so I thought I'd add something new in this video, and that's just a list of attachments that you definitely want to try and put some of them on. You won't be able to put all of them on, but try and put as many of these as you can on. So the good attachments for bloodthirsties are the quick draw, the grip, the stock, the hybrid or extended mags, whichever one you can get, and then possibly FMJ, like I say, if you're in core game modes and you find you're coming across lots of people with armor, but that's not a necessity, that one. And then, yeah, either the red dot sight or the ELO, or if you are really happy with the iron sight of the gun, don't waste your points on the sights, but in general, I like putting sights on because it's clearer, especially the ELO. It's a nice, simple, clear sight. So perks can vary quite a bit, but for the classes I've just talked about, I'm going to keep the perks the same just because I like these perks. So obviously you can change them if you want, or if you prefer a different one, then obviously go for that. But I like using Scavenger for perk 1 and that's because you will run out of ammo quite easily. And if you come across dead bodies, you can just pick up their ammo packs and make sure you've constantly got ammo so that you're not running out in the middle of a gunfight. Next is cold-blooded. It's going to resist you against a bunch of things, including the enemy abilities, their equipment, the score streaks, and the AI targeting will be delayed, and also player-based score streaks will not target you. You won't show up on their score streak. It will prevent quite a lot of annoying deaths, that perk, but it's good. And then for perk 3, I like using Tracker just so you can see enemy footsteps. If there's anyone near you, it's perfect for finding them and getting the kills. Also, it shows you a little HUD alert when you've been spotted on someone else's fog of war, so it's very good as well for finding enemies. For gear, I like to keep it nice and simple, just a stim shot so you can heal faster. That's my favourite one for this guide. And then for specialists, the main 3 I like using are either Recon, Crash or Talk. That's because for Recon, you've got a Recon dart, so you can put it somewhere. If you're around a certain area, you can put it down and spot if any enemies are coming into that radius. So it's good for knowing if anyone's near you. And then your main ability is the Vision Pulse, and it gives you the ability to see all the enemies through the walls. So that's really good for finding where they are and perhaps coming up to them if they don't know you're there and getting a kill on them. So it's really useful, especially when you're going on streaks. The second specialist is Crash, and that's because his piece of equipment will give you ammo, which is always good. But at the same time, he can also boost your health as well as your friendly's health so that you have a better chance of staying alive when you're on a streak. So it's very good, although sometimes it's a bit of luck and time based depending on whether when you earn the ability will match up with when you're on the streak, but that's a very good one as well. And finally Talk, just because if you feel like you need to camp a little bit more, you can hold down an area, you can put that razor wire in a doorway, and if you wanted you could put the barricade as well to hide behind it, although the trouble is if the barricade gets kills for you, that will take away from your main streak and that won't count as far as I'm aware. So be careful with the barricade, but definitely the razor wire is good for holding down an area. This is a really important point, guys. Don't use specialist weapons. If you use specialist weapons, it takes away from your kills of that streak. So, don't go using the Tempest, or, don't use the grenades from battery or the grenade launcher, nothing like that. Avoid all the specialist weapons and only use the abilities. That's what I'm saying, okay? The same goes for score streaks as well, actually. So when you're using score streaks, don't use lethal ones, because if you're on a streak and then you use a score streak before you get your bloodthirsty, that might take away from you getting that bloodthirsty. Although normally if you're getting streaks, it's because you're on a bloodthirsty already, but just try not to use lethal score streaks. And then for the score streaks then, I would suggest using non-lethal ones. That's the UAV, the counter UAV, and the care package. Just use the care package very cautiously, I'd say. Now finally, this is probably the best bit of the video, and that's the tips. A lot of people struggle with bloodthirsties, but these tips are really going to help you out, okay? So first up, I hear a lot of people saying that when they try and go on bloodthirsties, they're just, they're useless, they can't do it. The first thing is try and warm up in a private match, okay? Play with bots, play on a lower difficulty, and then increase it to the higher difficulty bots. And when you feel comfortable with that, then go into multiplayer and just play some games, and hopefully you should get some bloodthirsties. When you're actually playing in a match, make sure you're watching your mini-map from time to time, see if there's any enemies there, but don't constantly focus on that, because then if you're not watching your main screen, you might die. You want to make sure whenever you go around a corner, you're trying to aim down sight and predicting if there'd be an enemy there, where would they be. There's no point looking down at the floor or up at the ceiling or the sky even. You want to be looking straight ahead where the enemy's going to be, if there is one, and if there's someone there, you're ready for them and you're going to take them out before they kill you. Some other great little tips. First of all, I know we haven't really heard this for a while, but jump and drop shotting is really good. So a jump shot is when you jump around a corner and you're shooting at an enemy, and because they're probably not going to expect it, you're going to get the kill because you've got that element of surprise. The other thing as well, if you come across an enemy and you drop shot, lots of enemies will not be thinking about that, they won't be aware about that, and that's basically where you hold down the trigger to start shooting and then hold the button to go prone at the same time, and you'll shoot and go prone, and that will kind of confuse the enemy, and because they won't be expecting you to go down, and so you'll be still shooting at them and kill them, and they probably won't be aiming at you and they'll die first. The next thing is the so-called YY reload cancel. So basically, obviously if you're on PlayStation it'd be triangle, but if you're about to reload and you see an enemy coming along, if you double tap that reload button while you're in the process of reloading, it will stop you reloading and leave the few bullets you have in your weapon, so you have an increased chance of killing them instead of just reloading and hopelessly dying because they're shooting you. So that's a really good tip. And next is the dodging. Sometimes enemies will be looking at you and they're just going to stand there, or they're going to, just move towards you and start shooting at you. If you shoot at them, but dodge a little bit from left to right, but not moving up and down, your gun is still going to pass over them with the bullets, but because you're dodging, they are not going to be aimed at you. They're going to be off target, and so you're more likely to get the kill than they will. So that's a good tip as well. Yeah, the other main thing is just to always heal and reload when possible. So it used to be just when you're in a gunfight, reload when you can, when you're safe, and when there's no enemies around. But now you've got to be aware that you need to heal as well, and that's why it's good having stim shot, because you can always heal faster. But yeah, when you're taking cover, you know, out of a gunfight, quickly reload and heal as well at the same time, really quick, and get back into the gunfight. Now, I mentioned earlier about that nice game mode tactic which you can use. So what you can do is you can go into kill confirmed. Let's say you kill an enemy, okay, and you leave their tag there. Well, what you want to do is you want to hide in that area and wait. And what happens is an enemy will come along and they'll think, oh, there's a nice tag there, no one buy it, I'll come and get it. And they're so drawn to it, like a bee to honey, they don't properly think about their senses and if anyone's around. So they'll go in for that tag, and then you can just pounce on them and kill them before they even suspect you. That's really good for getting kills as well if you're struggling a little bit. So definitely try that out. And then finally, there's something called the 3-2 method, where basically you go out into the map, get around 3 kills, and then come back and hide for the last 2 kills. That's my method. I can talk about that properly in another video if you guys want, but those are just some general tips for getting bloodthirsties. Hope you guys found this useful. If you've got any other tips which I haven't thought of, please leave them down below in the comment section. And if you guys did find this useful, feel free to leave a like. Make sure you go and check out the playlist of camo guides in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.